2020. It's not exactly as we planned, but we are small business people and we know how to change quickly to which way the wind blows on a particular day. If we didn't, we would not survive. So welcome to Mind Your Business 2020. There won't be a fabulous breakfast or lunch as in years past. There won't be the regular side meetings, but we will have the meat. And this information and the strategies to help us to not only maintain our businesses, but more importantly, grow our businesses in spite of the pandemic that has descended on our country. I would like to thank PNC for sponsoring this event. PNC has partnered with the Baltimore Times on many, many small business events. PNC is a true believer in the importance of small businesses to the community, and are willing to invest in the communities they serve. Our Mind Your Business 2020 series is tailored to keeping your businesses alive and prosperous in spite of COVID-19. I would also like to thank the Baltimore Metropolitan Women's Business Center at Morgan State University. Our second seminar today is focused on some amazing women in all phases of business, and they will be discussing with vibrant conversation their failures, jumpstarting, daring to launch a business in the time of COVID-19, and become wildly successful to start and manage other businesses. Our third seminar, a business wellness checkup, will remind small businesses all the things that business owners must have in place to avoid problems, to be able to access loans and become profitable. Once again, thank you for joining us today, and I'll see you next Tuesday.
Thank you, Joy. And thank you, Baltimore Times, for offering such a wonderful opportunity and experience for women in business in these times. And today we're talking about power plays for women founders. And so you'll meet founders, entrepreneurs of a number of small businesses, as well as some of the people who sponsor resources and information and opportunities to support these women. And these are people from our sponsoring organizations, PNC Bank, as well as the Baltimore Metropolitan Women's Center at Morgan. So you're going to have an opportunity to really talk and share and engage. My name is Burnett Jones. I'll be your moderator today. I'm the founder of Conscious Life Design Systems. and also over many years, business owner, a background in many different things. I want to share with you our panel for today, and they are wonderful women who have great stories to tell and great information to share about how you do this thing. What are the power moves that you'll have to make? What are the mind shifts that you'll have to make? What are the strategies that you'll have to change to have the stamina to make it through? I want to start with sharing our some of our resource people and sponsors. We have Melanie Farragut from PNC Bank. And Melanie, tell us a little bit about your background with women in business.
Sure, absolutely. So we are delighted to be a part of this today, and to bring some information to support business owners like yourselves. So within PNC, we have a program called Women in Business Certified Advocates. So we have some proprietary training that our employees will go through. So we have over 2,000 of these advocates across 25 markets. And the proprietary training really is about hearing your story. I love that you used that word story earlier. Listening and truly being an advocate for you and your business. I know that with the pandemic and COVID, a lot of business owners didn't know who to reach out to. And our goal is to truly be that banker that you have a relationship with, and that you know in a crisis, I'm going to call my banker. And so really empowering and having a lot of support for diversity and inclusion. I'm also the president for our internal resource group, and for Women Connect. So we're also working within PNC to empower women within finance, again, to encourage them to be part of the advocacy program, but also to provide trainings for leadership qualities, and to really be a support both externally and internally. Thank you.
Thank you. We also have Sherry Curry, who's with PNC as well. How you doing today, Sherry? Tell us a little about what you do with women in business. Can't hear you. You're muted.
Sherry Curry, thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to work with great females such as the panel that we have today. Like Melody said, I am a certified women in business advocate at PNC, and I wear a lot of hats. I'm in the community being an advocate for female business owners, really helping them to be confident and to not have a fear of failure when trying to start a business. I also help you from beginning to end, or beginning to start a business, the midpoint, how to get funding. And I always tell my female business owners that it's really good to have a contact, have a personal relationship with a banker, especially in these times now that we are in with COVID-19. It's very important to have a great personal relationship with your banker. And I'm that banker and community advocate for women in business here at PNC. Thank you.
Awesome. Awesome. And Anne Frank, who's with the Morgan Women's Business Metropolitan Business Center. You can give us the correct name. Tell us what you do over there at Morgan.
Sure. And good afternoon to everyone. And thank you for having me to be a part of this panel and this conversation. So I am excited to share that the Baltimore Metropolitan's Women's Business Center is hosted by Morgan State University. We are in partnership with an organization that was already at the university called EDAC, Entrepreneurial Development and Assistance Center. And so, we are part of that organization to support women business entrepreneurs in Baltimore County, Baltimore City, actually Hartford, Carroll, and Frederick. So what we do over there at the campus virtually now is we embrace women business owners, help them in terms of educating them about what it takes to be an entrepreneur, from registering, from the idea of whatever their business interest would be in registering their business with the state of Maryland, or, you know, outside of the state of Maryland or other states combined, on to, you know, making sure that they are marketing their organization, their business well, and engaging their customers and the community so that they will learn of resources and take advantage of resources such as PNC and others to, you know, make their business grow. So that's what we're up to. And we're appreciative of all the support that the community has given us to create such a center to embrace women.
Wonderful. Grateful. Wow. So now let's get into the meat of this. We have 3 entrepreneurs who I'd like to introduce to you, and then we're going to have each of them share with you their stories of how they ended up in business. Amanda Mack, who is got that awesome hairstyle there. Amanda,
thank you.
We just saw you on the cover of the Baltimore Times newspaper.
Thank you.
A very powerful story. Tell us, how did you get into business? And are you a first-generation business owner, or just what's your story? What's the background?
Oh my goodness. So I could talk all day about business. I'm actually not a first-generation business owner. I come from a long line of women who are very creative, very entrepreneurial. So my gifts and talents are very much a mirror of, you know, the women I grew up with and my family. My grandmother, mom, and aunt all are in food. My grandmother, she was a chef and a baker. She worked at some of the earliest restaurants here in Baltimore. My mom, she has a catering company. She's had it for about 10 years. I worked with her in that, and so does my aunt. I actually didn't start out in food. I was in like marketing, communications, graduated from Coppin State with a degree in art production and management. So I've always been like very creative. I've always been like, I want to do this and that, things that, you know, show my gifts and my talents, my creativity. But I've also been someone who at a young age understood the importance of like giving back, supporting others, uplifting others. I come from a very large family. So I have great attributes from both sides. And I feel like I'm kind of like, you know, the best of both worlds in that aspect.
So tell us the name of your business, Amanda.
Oh, I am the owner of Crust by Mack. It's a small bakery here in Baltimore. We started a few years ago. It's just like a pop-up. We were like slinging pies here in Baltimore. We popped up at our house at Ground and Griddled. And then from there, we were at other retailers. I always knew I kind of wanted to have my own thing. I managed a small bakery cafe in Reservoir Hill. And I just knew I wanted to do more. I wanted to be more creative. And I got on the journey to kind of like figuring out what that looked like and figuring out the road to success for starting your own business. Learned so many things, oh my goodness, on the way that I will be excited to share throughout the course of this seminar today.
And I can't wait to taste some of what you make. I know that's going to be a party.
It's going to be a party.
So then we're going to move to Takiyah Ross. And I think we saw you in the Baltimore Times newspaper and heard your story, but tell us a little bit about what the name of your business is, what you do, and all of the awesome things that you've been up to.
All right now. You said, now listen, Crust by Mack, you know how I feel about them crab pies. Let me jump in there. and jump on that. Is it the crab pie? So my name is Takiyah Ross. I'm the owner of Accessorized Makeup Artistry. We are the home of Pretty Mobile Baltimore. That's DMV's first mobile makeup studio. And we are the creator of Kiki Thunder Cosmetics, a small batch manufacturing cosmetic line here in Baltimore. So I got started on accident. I didn't mean to be an entrepreneur. It just jumped up on me. And so I needed to make a way to provide for my kids. I had done what the world told me I was supposed to do. I had went to college, I got degrees, I got a good government job, but it just wasn't enough. I just wasn't making enough money to take care of my family. And I wasn't fulfilled. So I wasn't, I went to work every day and I hated it. I hated, the red tape. I hated, all the things that I had to do to fit in to what corporate told me was a professional Black woman. And so I decided to create what I wanted to see. And that was Accessorized.
That sounds so interesting. Like I want to just get over it. Yeah, get over in there.
It's fun. It's fun. It's fun. Well, listen, don't threaten us with a good time. See, that's what I'm saying. You over here starting early with the threat for the good time.
Nakia Drummond, you've got a pretty interesting background. Really interesting. All the things you've done and that you do now. Let us hear what your business is and what you're up to.
Well, first, thank you for having me, and I'm so excited to be on this panel with these lovely ladies who I fangirl over all the time. I know we've met in passing or at events, but we haven't really spent any real time together, but I'm always cheering you on and so excited for everything that you're doing. I'm Nakia Drummond, and I'm founder and CEO of NLD Strategic, and through NLD Strategic, we have launched the Women Entrepreneur Leadership Lab. So NLD, the boring stuff, if you will, no, it's fun for me at times, but we're a management consulting firm focused on social impact, primarily in education, but also community development and in my passion, economic development and inclusion for Black women. And that is where we launched the Well, which is a membership network for Black women business owners, so that we can use what we got to get what we want, forging collaboration and building community with one another, networking and supporting one another, and growing new products and services together, doing what we've been doing for generations, and just making it work for us. And also we use the data that we collect through the Well to advocate for resources and things that we need, ways that we need to be at tables to show up for our businesses and get what it is that we need out of business. And that is the long and short, but how I got into business, really, I think I've been an entrepreneur my whole life, in some way, shape, or form. And with starting the Well, one of the things that I recalled was that when I was 8, I started a membership organization for girls in my neighborhood called the Girls Talking Walk Club. And it really was about us building community. So I was always meant to do that. And in terms of the consulting, my consulting practice, it really was, I started my business 6 months after my son was born. Crazy. But I did because I wanted to own my energy. I needed to own my energy so that I could show up for myself and my family the way that I wanted to and needed to. And I knew that I was smart enough to get it done and skilled enough to make it happen. And so that's what's been happening ever since. And we've been growing.
Wow. Amazing. Really, really excellent. But let me ask this question, and I'm just going to throw it out and we'll start. Do you think women entrepreneurs in this day and age have more challenges than men?
Oh my God.
What do you think? Who's up?
Yes. Yes, and double yes.
Okay.
Period.
Period.
Yeah.
Thank you, Nakia. Period. I think we need to recognize that women have always carried the weight of the family on their shoulders, especially African-American women.
Yeah.
Historically, we have been all the things that the family needs. We're the breadwinner, we're the nurturer, we're the disciplinarian, we're the creator, we the food maker, we Uber, You know, we all of the things. Listen, Nakia, you better say it.
Whatever's required.
Yes. And so I think this has been exacerbated, you know, one, for a number of reasons. You know, entrepreneurship is not new in the African American community, and it's absolutely not new for African American women. Black women start businesses at 6 times the national average, and that's just out the gate. We're not playing with this entrepreneurship, but a lot of times we don't even know that we're in business.
Yep.
Yeah.
We don't even know it's a hobby that turned into a business. And a lot of times we don't have the family structure to be able to support us. So we're not having those conversations at the table, you know, about how to get money, how to keep money, how to grow money, how to invest money. We're not having those types of conversations.
How to not be scared of money.
Yeah, listen, don't say, listen, you better say it. You better say it. And so, and now,
go ahead.
No, wait a minute.
And
came in. You know she had something to say because her fingers was moving.
We can't hear you. You need to unmute.
And you're on mute.
Can I say something, Ed?
Okay. Oh, okay. Replay. And to use other people's money.
And to use other people's money, yes. Yes.
Yeah, and that's a part of the fear of money too, right? Because there's this fear that you're going to do something wrong with it, or it's going to slip through your hands, or somebody's going to be after you for it, right? This overall fear. So not using other people's money is all about the fear of money, period. That like either I'm not worthy of it, or I need to keep distant from it because of what it might do to me or my family.
Yes.
And then too, we need to be mindful that, especially as a Black woman, I know my mother told me, you just can't be walking around here asking people for money. You can't just be out here walking up on people and saying, can I get some money? Can I borrow some money? And so culturally, we have to address some of the cultural implications that we have in our community around entrepreneurship, wealth building, accessing capital and resources, asking for help, you know what I mean? Working together, that sort of thing.
I think
Sherry had something to say. Sherry,
as a banker, that's why I am passionate, and it's very important to have a relationship with a banker. I'm a woman, I'm a mother. Everything you're saying, I agree with. That's why I try to sit down with women and help them to understand how to get funding, how to get lending. And a lot of times, 99% of my customers who are female entrepreneurs are now my girlfriends. So we talk about how to overcome the fear of failure, how to balance family life and running a business. But again, it's so important to have a banker that you have a relationship with that understands those challenges that you face as a female business owner. And then, you know, I'm a Black woman, so I understand it from being a woman and a Black woman, but it's very important to develop a relationship with that banker so that, you know, they look out for you. I look out for my female business owner client before anybody. When the PPP came out and all of this stuff, I was on the phone calling to make sure they got a piece of the pie. So that's really what I wanted to add to that. And I agree with all of you ladies.
it's the relationship.
So agree
also
with the relationship with money, because that can't, not the relationship with bankers, because we noticed that with our members in the well, that so many of us like jumped on with accessing the PPP and other loans and grants that were out there, and it had a lot to do with the fact that when this all happened, we were meeting weekly, and and sometimes every other day, and we had two of our banking partners who we have been building relationship with over the last year and a half on the line every time, giving us all the details, and we knew what to do to move forward, and we had a strategy to move forward because we had been building those relationships and building that trust. But I think that the relationship, the reason why I was able to build and work was that we weren't just having to go into the bank to find the relationships. Those bankers were coming to where we are, where we felt comfortable and able to open up and be vulnerable with them. and they slow walked it, right? Like it wasn't about just let me get this product in your hand or start working with me now. They were building, some of them didn't do business with any of us for 8 months before there was a real business relationship established, but they built relationship with people first.
The other thing too, I've met some wonderful women over the years. I've met women who are bakers, who are the best baker in Baltimore. I've met great makeup artists. I've met great hairdressers. They're great in their field, but they didn't have the knowledge and the understanding of how to run the business from a financial standpoint. Because most businesses don't fail because you're a bad banker or you're a bad makeup artist. They fail because of cash flow. So that's just an important piece, again, to stress having a relationship with a banker.
Yeah. And you had something that you wanted to share.
Yes, I want to jump in here now that my mic is on. I want to share I want to emphasize everything that everyone has said. I think, Burnett, your question was, in this time, in this space, are women businesses having more difficulty than others? Was that a signal? So what I'd like to say is that, all businesses are having difficulties. Of course, women are having their share. However, women seem to be able to pivot and to withstand a little, I would say, better in this crisis for some of the reasons that have already been identified. Number one, women are more relational. And relationships matter. Connecting with one another, sharing our, sharing our path forward, how we've been able to pivot. Women business owners, just like you're having this conversation, this forum, we do this informally all the time. And so we've been helping each other in terms of, and we've been a resource for each other. So relationships, resources, certainly your banking resourcing, your accounting, finding people to help you do social media, all kinds of, and certainly the Women's Business Center is a major resource. We, some of the ladies on the line have talked about how they fell into their business. I think it was Takiyah that said that, it jumped on her. Entrepreneurship jumped on her. And that happens because when people are creative and looking for something different, opportunity avails itself. But then we got to go back and we got to get the technical support that we need so that we can mitigate some of the risks that come with business ownership, right? Because we're good at what we do, but we got to be experts in business development. I'm going to give somebody else a chance to say something, but I got to get that in there.
Monica, one of our viewers says women are absolutely great at networking.
Absolutely.
And that is absolutely how it is. I want to ask Amanda, I want to ask you something. In the article in the Baltimore Times, and this is something that's relevant to everyone. You talked about the strategies that you had to use when the whole COVID experience, I mean, being in a business where you're dealing with food, what people are eating, being intimate one-on-one with people. What has changed in your approach to business and in your mindset and the way you do business to be able to continue to stay in business in that environment?
Well, first of all, I want to say that when COVID happened, everything changed. Everything shifted. We went from because we're very service-based, we're very community forward, we're very close. We want people to feel like family. So our whole business model was structured around being social, inviting people in, curating experiences that kept people close. And we entered into a whole area of social distancing, of, being close but apart at the same time. So we had to think about how could we reimagine our menu to make it less transactional and more approachable. Even though it was still you're just coming to the counter to get food, we still wanted people to feel close to us. So we had to completely change our whole menu, our whole dining experience, because we were going to offer like dine in, we were going to offer like taking things to the table and catering opportunities, small event opportunities. If you come into your home or come into your event. So we just had to think really quickly on our feet how to offer the service of us and keep us in the food without actually physically being there. One of the things I realized was, as far as prep, production, and service, we had to now wear masks, all of these healthcare obligations that we had to do to make sure that, one, we were staying safe, because I'm a mom of 3 kids, and it was very risky for me to just say, okay, I'm going to open, because now I'm putting myself at risk, I'm putting my family at risk. But we had to figure out a way to do it that was safe and to encourage people to come out. So we did like curbside, we did delivery, like we tried to do everything that we could to make sure that we were still servicing customers. And actually, the first couple of weeks when the stay-at-home order took place, we actually just became a resource for like frontline workers. We put a hold on our business, and we wanted to show up for the community. Awesome. We wanted to raise funds for the Maryland Food Bank. The first thing that came to my mind was food insecurity. Families who kids couldn't go to school and needed those meals. How could we help them? How could we be of service to them? Yeah. So a lot of our business, yes, it's food, but the other part is more about service. How can we be of service to our community, our friends, our family? So Crush just became a vehicle for getting meals out to organizations, helping small families with facing food insecurity. And I think that really kind of showed people that we are committed to the community, which is why when we actually opened, we had that support that we had for people coming out week after week, showing up for us. We're splitting our tips and donating part of our proceeds to people who need them most. So for me, it is a business, but it's also about how I can show up for other people. So I think that that is one of the things that sets us apart and helps people to show up for us, so that we can show up for other people. I think that's one of the reasons we're so successful now, because, you know, we are out there getting our hands dirty. Like, we're like, how can we help? What can we do? Like, how can we be of service to you? Because food definitely keeps us close. It reminds us of those times where we're sitting in the kitchen with our grandparents, with our cousins around the table. Those happy times, we try to recreate those in every area of our business.
You know, I think that a natural part of who we have to be as Black women brings all of that into who we get to be in business. We get to be community. We get to bring not just something that we're selling, but we get to bring, how do you create community at the same time and nurture and give and service. And some of our listeners are agreeing with us with the comments that are coming up. But I want to ask Melanie something about how the bank, from a bank's perspective, what kinds of things are you seeing women in business coming to you for in these times? Are there resources? Are there special services? And you can jump into Sherry, but I wanted to ask Melanie that.
Sure. So I think it's important to look at the history of women in business. So I want to celebrate all of you because it's quite an accomplishment. You're all very young, but in 1988, which is only 30 years ago, a woman could not get a business loan without a male relative signing. And so what that looked like was someone would have to bring their 18-year-old son into the bank in order to be able to get business lending. So we recognize, and that's part of the training with PNC, is to recognize some of the long way that we've come. But as you were talking earlier about the differences in maybe the women approach investing or money, there's actually a video that's out on pnc.com today that talks about, are we talking to our male children and our female children differently in the way they approach money? So what we see, obviously, are the same needs, but what we want to promote is that relationship. Like you've all been talking about, and what Sherry talked about as well, is making sure that we understand you. So each of you, the baker, the beautician, the consultant understand your story and what you're trying to accomplish before we start talking about banking. So how do we help you get to where you want to be? And that's really what I see as a PNC certified women in business advocate, is women who need to tell their story and they're just looking for that support. Sherry, is there something you'd like to add there?
Well, everything that Melody said, I agree with. The other thing, when we talk about relationships, because I'm big on that, I have women who just come for support, for someone to be their cheerleader, for someone to really be an advocate for them. You know, I have female business owners that we may get together and they're my prayer partners. So it just varies. But, you know, a lot of them may come because they don't understand, you know, all of these loan documents and the terminology and how the PPP works, because we're getting into the repayment piece of it. So there's a lot of educating, but then there's also that support, that clear understanding of each other. And like I said, some women just come for a hug. I've had a rough day, Sherry, and I just want to vent and I want a hug, or I want some support, or even encouragement. I've noticed that a lot of female business owners have a fear of failure. So I'm here to encourage you and let you know that you can do it. Let's sit down and come up with a plan of success. And we literally action plan, you know, a 30-day, 60-day, 90-day, 1 year. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? So those are some of the things that I do and that, you know, I see from my female business owners.
Well, we have a short video clip from PNC. This will be a good time, and then we're going to come back and finish our conversation.
Equipping women with the financial tools and resources they need to lead companies and communities into the future is the work of women's business development at PNC. PNC is committed to supporting the goals of female financial decision makers, whether she's buying a home of her own, building a multi-million-dollar business, or achieving a coveted seat on a Fortune 500 board of directors. We put this commitment into action through events and sponsorships in partnership with a variety of organizations in the communities PNC serves. In Indianapolis, for example, we partner with a program called Board Ready Women.
We put together a list of what we felt would be qualified executive women who would really have a great shot at being selected to serve on a board. And so we launched this last year, teaching them things about items such as governance, audit committee, what the risks are, and then we would bring in other female board members who are currently serving on boards to share their stories and their experiences.
Within PNC, our company-wide network of more than 2,000 PNC certified women's business advocates embody our commitment to women. Our WBAs receive proprietary training to better support female financial decision makers by understanding the challenges and the opportunities that they face.
CPI Creative is a branded merchandise and apparel company, and we do a lot of products from the ground up. I so appreciate having a banker who is so understanding of a woman's point of view.
I think it's a matter of caring, and women's business advocate certification isn't something we go tell our clients. It's a way in which we carry ourselves. And I find that it's less about what you say and more about what you do.
If you want to be real, you have to practice these things. You can't just talk about them.
Many times you don't believe in yourself as much as our banker believed in us. And she also really integrated herself into my company and got to know each of my team members. So I guess we can say that our PNC banker is part of our family.
The success of women business owners and female decision makers is really important because, especially on the business side, it's the fastest growing segment in U.S. small business.
I think the Women's Business Advocate has helped me understand some of the fundamental differences in how people make decisions. And we always want to do everything we can to meet the needs of our clients. And it just framed my thinking a little differently based on who the decision makers were, whether that be within a household and a family or executives within a business.
The WBA certification was something that I could use to refine my communication skills with female financial decision makers and break into networks of really powerful and talented women that had really cool stories to tell.
The certification is really a stamp of approval in saying that I care.
It's just one more tool to help you be more successful as you engage customers and potential customers.
In the relationships that I've developed with women-owned businesses and female financial decision makers, I've learned that while it takes time to build that trust in the beginning, what happens after that pays itself tenfold and pays itself forward. These women are my friends and they're my colleagues, and they're the ones that say, because of the work you've done for me, Katie, I know just the person that you could help too.
It's not just one person, your relationship manager or your wealth advisor, who is the person who's the women's business advocate. There's a whole network of people throughout the company.
You know, as a banker, I'm helping women-owned businesses open bank accounts, help them understand and see their accounts differently. Some of the programs that we're able to offer them from a networking perspective, just from the resources that we can provide them with outside of just what can be done in the bank itself, has proved to be pretty extraordinary, I think, in helping them grow their small business.
When I think back to the beginning of starting Carol Philp Inc., doing business as CPI Creative, I didn't realize the value of having a strong relationship with a banker. So when I talk to other women entrepreneurs, especially through WeBank, I explain to them that if you're working with someone that really doesn't connect with you, keep looking, because it makes all the difference in the world.
It's about the people. It's about being who we are and being in business. Don't you just love it?
I love it.
If I could add a plug, our regional president for Greater Maryland is a female, and she was on that video. Her name is Laura Gamble, and she is an excellent advocate for women in business and has also been a great mentor for Melody and I. So we're not just talking about it, we're about it. So just want to put that out there.
Very good, very good.
And Burnett, if I could also add to, that was an excellent, of course, video and an excellent program that PNC offers. And when we talk about partnership, I want to share that, you know, centers like the Women's Business Center and such are in partnership with organizations like PNC, because, I mean, let's PNC is a lender. They loan money. And so it's wonderful to have advocates like what Sherry does and Melanie does. And we want to definitely, you know, it's just wonderful that they embrace women and help them through the process. But we want to make their jobs easier, right? Because anybody seeking a loan, PNC is a lender. They, you know, loan money and they're going to want it back. And so, and you want to get your money or, you know, your funds as soon as possible. So organizations like the Women's Business Center help you to prepare even before you get to PNC, right? To make their jobs easier, because they're going to ask you, you know, what's your plan? Sherry said that, you know, what's your plan? They're going to ask you what your projections are, what your financials are. You know, they want to know how you're going to pay the money back. So using a resource that helps women understand what balance sheets are, what projections are, how to do a business plan, how to understand the valuation of their organization, helps PNC to help you to get whatever capital infusion you're looking for. So I just want to put that in there as well, because I think Takiyah said it best when she said somebody in her family, I think she said her grandmother or her mother said, you just can't be borrowing money. I mean, it's not that, you got to know how you're going to repay it. You have to know what you're going to do with it. And I think, you know, utilizing resources.
Yeah, and I think too, because I think one of the things that was mentioned was fear of failure, and we keep saying the fear of failure all the time, but in reality, sometimes it's the fear of the success. Like it's not failure, because we know failure. Every person on here has failed at something. We know that. We know what it's like to not get something. I think the fear of stepping fully into who you are supposed to be and giving yourself permission to follow all those dreams that you wrote down in that spiral notebook, because we all got a little notebook. You done wrote down 87 million ideas about what you can do and how you can do it and how it's going to look and all of that. And then when it's time to implement, when it's time to execute, we get nervous. You know what I mean? Because I don't have enough money and I don't have enough help, and who going to do such and such. It's not about that. It's about doing it scared. If it does not scare you, you are not dreaming big enough. You ain't dreaming that big. If you don't wake up in the morning and look at your business nervous, like I look at it like, oh God, oh Jesus, oh Lord.
Absolutely.
If you don't have that feeling, that means that you're not pushing yourself past. Yes, Nakia, like you got to push yourself past what you know. We know what failure looks like. We don't know what success in business looks like. We don't know that. And so we a little nervous about you. You better jump into that thing. You better run all up on it and recognize that when you do it, you give permission for somebody else to do it too. Like I'm being honest, like I watch these women every day, all day long. Nakia and Amanda, y'all know I'm stalkers. Y'all know I'm on your page. I'm over here stalking you.
I know.
Yeah, we stalkers. And I'm just trying to. I'm like, girl, do it, girl. Yes.
Right.
Did she open that store? Lord, let me open my. Like I know it can do it. I know she did that in the pandemic. Let me jump out here and do something.
I saw somebody ask about
being
the fear of death
for each other.
Yes. I saw someone ask a great question. It went up really quickly about people being afraid of debt when you start in a new business.
This is from Belinda. Let me just read the question. It's from Belinda McLaughlin. It says, for new business owners afraid of debt, what do you suggest? Is it a good idea to apply for business loans, credit cards, lines of credit? It's a great question.
So what I was going to say to that was, because when I decided to start my business, I was someone who was afraid of debt. And afraid in the sense that I already had debt. I had student loan debt. I had credit card debt. Because I came from a low income family. I went away to college and all the credit cards still coming in the mail. I know that if I have this money to take care of myself, I don't have to ask my parents. Of course, I got credit cards, incurred debt, and just things that were irresponsible in the beginning when I was young. So when I wanted to start a business, in my mind, I'm thinking like, I don't want to be further in debt, right? Like I felt like I didn't want to take out a loan, but those things are actually investing in yourself. Like you have to believe in your business enough, believe in your brand enough to know that you have a strategy, you have a plan, and you're confident to ask for this money because you know that your business will be successful in returning the money that you were loaned. I do feel like, because for me, the loan was not that wasn't my first option. I felt like I wanted to crowdfund. I felt like I had a big enough family and a big enough network that I could get people to support me in raising the funds. And I also had to think about, what am I doing to invest in myself? What can I actually do? What can I save? How can I help grow my financial situation before I go to a bank? And I feel like doing all of the work beforehand, figuring out how you can invest in yourself, sets you up for success when you go to a lender, because they've seen that you are committed to your success, that you try every avenue that you can. You have your plans, you know where you want to be, you know what your projections are, and that makes it easier for you to get a loan. And also, don't be afraid of the debt, because they're not going to grant you something that you cannot pay back. You know, like they're going to look at the plan and say, okay, these are your projections. This is your plan. This is what we're going to loan you, right? Like, so just know, like when you're buying a house, like they're not going to grant you money for something that you're not going to be able to pay back. Banks nowadays are actually on your side. They are invested in you. They want you to succeed. They want you to be able to pay back that loan, and they want your business to be successful. So I think believing in yourself and your business, doing the work up front, makes it easier to go get the loan. Don't be afraid of debt, because being afraid of debt might mean that you're being afraid of success. Like Takiyah and Nakia said, like, be proud of yourself and your business and know that you have what it takes to make it grow. And then debt is just, you know, in the forefront. Like I wake up every day and I'm looking like, oh my goodness, what am I doing today? How much money do I need to bring in? I'm thinking about payroll and expenses and all things like that. But that's just a part of business. It becomes second nature, and you think less about the money that you owe and more about what is the next opportunity for my growth? Where can I make more money? How can I do more? You know, once you're in business and you're rolling, those things become less of a factor because you've already done the work. You believe in yourself. You have other people who believe in you. So debt becomes less a factor, especially when you start seeing that growth and the value in investing in yourself first.
Yeah.
And you have to spend money anyway.
Yes.
And so when you start your business, you're going to have to make some types of investments anyway. And so when you are considering, should I take a loan or get a line of credit and all of that, you have to recognize that the money's coming from somewhere. So don't take it out of your pocket. Keep yourself as liquid as possible, as much as you can, because to the point Amanda made, you're going to be able to pay that back. I mean, obviously you don't want to make rash decisions and do anything crazy, but that money better out of their pockets than out of yours in the moment, because you want to keep yourself liquid. You want to keep yourself fluid and able to make decisions that aren't based on some fear around like you're running out, because when you're spending your own money, you watch it dwindle down and you're like, oh, now I'm going to just take this thing that doesn't even align with the purpose of my business or my goals or my mission, but it's paying me because I need to replace this money that I took out of my own savings or my own checking account. So keep yourself liquid. And then I love, I've recently really begun to love crowdfunding and saw it particularly for our community as that friends and family round we often do not have access to. So many other communities fund and seed into businesses that their family members are starting, their friends are starting, it because it's just a cultural thing. It's, you know, people do it. And I don't know about for everybody else on here, but that just isn't and wasn't the case in my family and friend circle, right? Where people even thought to do that, right? That they wouldn't, but it just wasn't a part of like how we operate. I am a first generation business owner, so people in my life didn't even know to, you know, think to do that. And so that crowdfunding piece really does allow you to have that friends and family round that other cultures kind of just do, and it's a part of how they operate and grow business.
And Nakia, I think we need to reimagine that friends and family round. You know what I mean? It's not that we don't have that round. Ours just looks different. You know what I mean? And so where we don't have those capital investments where, you know, your mama can't give you $10,000, you know what I mean, to do it. But what your mother does do is show up at that bakery to help you pack up those orders. And your mama does show up and man your event, and your mama do pack you up. You know what I mean? And know those types of things. And so we need to change our language and change how we look at that friends and family round, and then hold funders and hold other people accountable for understanding that our round just doesn't look like what you're used to. And so we need to make sure that we are advocating in that avenue as well. That, you know, it may not, I got to put my kids coming in and help me, my aunt, my uncle, you know what I mean? Everybody is helping. They can't do the
sweat
money.
Equity is real.
Yes. And so I think we need to make sure that we are being very mindful of how we talk about our business, what we say about the things that our businesses do. We are not in debt. I am invested. You understand what I mean? Like, I'm not in debt. I'm invested. Like, you know, and think about those types of things instead of saying, you know what I mean, I don't have enough money. You know what I mean? Money is a tool. You know, I am capable of getting as much money as I deem necessary for my change how you talk.
Yes. One of our listeners made that exact same point, Takiyah, that our language, sometimes it's what is causing us to fail. It's about being able to speak words that uplift us and that make us mindful and conscious of what it is we're doing and what we're intending to do. This is the kind of work that we do with people in conscious life design systems to help people get clear about what you're really intending, and then to align everything that you are doing in your business, in your life, to be consistent with what it is you really do intend, and not speak about your limitations or invite them. It's in the mind,
because there is no lack.
a holistic way, way of being in life and being in business. And that's a winner. That's a winner, whatever the outcome is. It's a winner, because you're going to learn, you're going to grow, you're going to develop, and offer a wonderful service to community.
Yeah, and I think you said, when you said limitless, I think we need to stop putting those words together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that. You know, I want to limit less. You know what I mean? I want to fear less. Like, don't keep putting those words together like that. Like you speaking it into you. Stop doing that. You know, I fear less. Now it's not that I'm not I still got fears. I just fear less. You know what I mean? I limit myself less. And so I think, and especially in business, like this is because sometimes you are working by yourself. We forget that you work is like it's you all day, all the time. You are the face of the brand. You got to do the work. You working in and on your business at the same time. And so if you can't find ways to motivate yourself, you know what I mean? You have got to find ways to come out on the other side and recognize, listen, I give myself 48 hours. I can sulk, I can cry, I can bleed, I can moan, I can complain for 48 hours. When that 48th hour hit, baby, you better put some lipstick on and a lash, and you better go out here and you better take over the world. You can't just be out here. You know what I mean? Because you don't have that. We don't have that kind of time. So it's just kind of like making sure that you follow people that encourage you to keep pushing.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Like you got to follow the people. Like you can't just be around people with that kind of mindset and expect you not to have it. It jumps on you.
Yes, you have to. Go ahead, Bernadette.
I want to make certain that we have time to put up everybody's contact information, because the people who are listening are on fire. They are just into this, like for real. And they're going to want to know how to be in touch. So we need to hear from everybody. What's your contact information? How do you want people to follow up with you? And then we're going to go back, and we still have about 30 minutes left. I know we could go on the rest of the day, but.
So I'm on LinkedIn as Nakia Drummond. I'm also on Instagram as Nakia by Design, and I'll turn it over.
Very good.
You can find me all the other ways right through those two.
Very good. Come on, Takiyah.
You're on mute.
I was on the mute. That's what I was on. I am on all of social media at Accessmatize. So you can find me all across Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all of that. I'm on LinkedIn at Takiyah Ross. So you can find me. I'm there.
Accessmatize. Wonderful.
Yes, ma'am.
And I am also on LinkedIn as Amanda Mack, and I'm also on all social media, Crust by Mack or Mrs. Married Mack is my account. I kind of show more of my family life and the real side behind what business actually looks like. You might see me at 4 a.m. at the bakery in the same clothes I had on the day before. But yes.
And who gonna check you? And who gonna check you? Ain't nobody gonna check you. Ain't nobody gonna check you, man.
You're sleeping it. I mean, you're up at night. You're waking up 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning and getting the download on what it is that you need to be doing. I mean, it's all of that.
Yeah.
All right, Ann, how do people get in touch with you?
Sure. The Baltimore Metropolitan Women's Business Center at Morgan has a website, baltmetrowbc.org. And certainly you can email me at ann.frank@morgan.edu. Be happy to respond to any, thoughts, questions, and share with you how to become a member with our center.
Very good. Sherry?
I am on LinkedIn at Sherry Curry. You can also email me at sherry.curry@pnc.com.
Very good. And Melanie?
Yeah, so I would encourage everyone to go to pnc.com/women. And also, everybody register your business with our supplier diversity program for minority-owned businesses. And then you can reach me. I'm in the Savannah Park branch of PNC. Same thing. I'm on LinkedIn, Melanie Farragut, as well as melanie.farragut@pnc.com.
And I'm downtown Baltimore. I forgot to include that, right at Pratt and Light Street.
Okay, very good. And if you're interested in conscious life design systems, you can go to our website at www.consciousnessagency, all one word, .com. Very good. Very good. So, what do you wish that somebody had told you before you started your business that you would now pass on to new women entrepreneurs?
Oh, I have something. I would like to say this because I have been an entrepreneur since I can remember. I had my son at 19. And it's so funny because as a fan, especially as like a Black woman coming from like a very traditional family, like my grandmother, married, husband, she took care of us. I feel like a lot of times you have that mom guilt where it's like, you are a mother now. This is what you're supposed to be doing. These are your priorities. You need to be this woman who, that old housewife standard, like we're in a new age, right? Like, and it is okay for you to be selfish when it comes to what you need, like prioritize yourself first, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I spent so many of my earlier years in business thinking about how can I serve my family and also serve myself and serve my business. And it got to a point where I thought less about my business because I felt like, I'm not being a good mom because I need to be out at 9 o'clock at night, or I need to be up at 2 a.m. to get this article out. So many things happen. You have to be okay with growing in a way that takes you a step away from the traditional norms of what it looks like to be a Black woman in business, or be a Black woman, or be a Black mother. Like set aside those ways and reimagine what your life looks like and what you want your life to look like for you. Because at the end of the day, you cannot pour from an empty cup. Have people around you who encourage you, who support you. Be okay with that first so that others see like, wow, okay, this is something that you're really invested in. I'm going to support you. And don't be afraid of like failure. Don't be afraid of it not working out the first time, because I had about 6 businesses before I started Crust. Some of them failed. Some of them was just like, I want to do something else, but I was never afraid to believe in myself enough to say that this is what I want to do and I'm okay with that. So I feel like believing in yourself enough, putting aside the norms of what you should be, depending on where you are in life, make yourself happy first. And that is the way that your business will flourish and your family will flourish. Everything's will be fine. Like, you have to put yourself first and don't be afraid of that. Let go all of that guilt and be okay with you being successful as who you are as a woman, in business, and everything else will follow that. I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, that's in conscious life design. We call that the self-talk, that conversation you got going on in the background. That's running things that you have to say, thanks for sharing, but no.
But no, thank you.
Else. Yeah, absolutely. Who else? What do you wish somebody had just said to you before you decided to take on into business?
I think one that your purpose doesn't require your permission.
Okay.
So what you are destined to do is going to keep showing up whether you decide to agree with it or not. You know what I mean? Like what you're supposed to be, your purpose in life is going to keep showing up. You're going to dream about it. You're going to eat it. It's just going to keep coming. So it doesn't require your permission. You might as well just go ahead and walk in. You know what I mean? You might as well just go ahead and keep on walking there. I want to say everything has prepared you for this moment. and all you have to do is show up.
Yeah.
So one of the things that like we keep thinking about all the things that we learn, like, I got a degree in history, you know what I mean? And people always say, but you're a makeup artist. Like how you end up with that, and it was just like, but that helped me write. That helped me to research, you know what I mean? That helped me to be able to articulate, you know what I mean? And so it's just kind of like, I think we need to be mindful of those things. And then I want to say, get out of your own way. Like stop making excuses for, you know what I mean, why you can't be as great as you are. Like we excuse ourselves out of our greatness. Like I can't do that because Amanda, I got the babies. You know what I mean? I got, I got 3 kids, and I can't do that. And I got this debt, and I got a mortgage, and my mama said I couldn't do it. Like stop excusing yourself out of your blessing. Like just stop. Yes. And I believe that wholeheartedly, that when you do that, like you're giving permission for other people to walk in their greatness. So how dare you not show up in yours? And that's what I want to say. How dare you deny the rest of the world? Somebody is waiting for you to show up in your purpose, in your magic, in your dopeness, and they can't show up because you haven't yet. Yes. So stop waiting for somebody to give you permission to be great. Stop.
Absolutely.
Walk in it anyway. Absolutely. Just and step into it and put on a red lip. And glitter. Put on glitter. Do it in a tutu. Wear the tutu. You know what I'm saying. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Wear the tutu.
Amen. I have a question. Somebody says, if it can be answered, what if you're not too sure to know what you're good at to start a business? How do you go from there? Jamaica Evans is asking that question. Nakia, can you weigh in on that?
I think that a lot of what Takiyah just said sort of speaks to that too, right? Like if you are paying attention to your life, to the clues that have been laid for you and for your life, like you really don't have to force it. You don't have to like create a thing. You will be led to it in a number of ways, and you will have everything you need, not all at once though, to get it done. You'll have a little bit here, but you've got to take action on that little bit there, because when you do, that next step is going to be revealed to you. So paying attention and recognizing that everything you do matters. That was one of the first lessons I learned in my first year in business. With no marketing or anything, the amount of business that came to me because of all the work I had been doing in the years leading up to it, that I felt like didn't matter, or nobody really saw me because my role was propping somebody else up, that it did matter, because when I told people this is what I'm doing, floodgates opened. And so recognizing that everything you do it with a spirit of excellence, and do it the work that you do, and I'm Christian, so I'll go, the work that you do for God, and like recognizing that if you are doing that work for God, that all those doors open for you. Absolutely. And that you will be elevated. And so you don't have to seek it out. If you put that intention out, that is a desire on your heart to own a business, and you keep your eyes open and keep your heart grateful, I believe that those doors will open for you, and just you'll be able to follow that path and be like, wow, and this connects to this, and I brought this thing in from here, and I didn't realize why I was doing that then, and this makes so much sense. And it will.
It's all a divine process. It really all is a spiritual path. That's one of the first things I learned in business many years ago, in the beauty industry. I had a beauty supply distributorship, and it is truly, all business is also a part of your spiritual path.
Yes.
And absolutely. If you walk in it with integrity to what spirit is guiding and directing you, you will learn what you need to learn. You'll encounter who you need to encounter. The resources will come forward, the people, the right everything. Yeah. So it is really about lifting your consciousness and awareness. I have another question, though, that came in I want to bring up from Paul Fowler. And this question is being directed to the bankers. And it says, what would you tell a new or small business owner to help them avoid some of the mistakes where other businesses have failed?
I'm not a banker, but I want to get in on that too.
Okay. So really quickly, I would say you ladies embody what an entrepreneur is, the passion and the energy that you bring as you talk about your business. But I have had business owners who come in and they are feeling very passionate about what they're in business for. But then I ask them a question. It could be as simple as, how much do you think you're going to get in revenue next year for your annual revenue? And they don't have an answer. So I would say having a plan. So coming in with a really good plan. I mean, you should be able to answer some basic questions, about what you expect your annual revenue to be. And I think we've talked about that, but definitely coming in, really knowing what the business side looks like, as well as what you're passionate about. And Sherry, I'll turn it over to you if you have something else.
Yeah, and I piggyback everything that you said. Again, I'm big on relationships, so you got to build that relationship with your banker. But I think one of the most important things that you ladies have done such an awesome job doing, you've got to be able to tell your story and be passionate about telling your story, because I'm the banker, I'm the advocate for you. So when it's time to get loans or grants or funding, guess who I'm going to bat for? My customers who have told me their story and they've been passionate about it. I believe in it. We've developed a relationship and a level of trust that now I can go to whomever and go to bat for you to get whatever the loan or the grant or whatever may be needed. So again, being able to tell your story and have passion about it, and building a relationship with a banker that's going to look out for you and provide you with expert advice.
Come on. Excellent. Come on, Ann.
I would say the area that people overlook when starting businesses is that you have to work on your business, not only in the business, right? And what that means is you have a talent, a skill, a service that you're passionate about doing as a business owner. Absolutely. And sometimes you get in the trenches and you stay so much in the trenches doing the work, you forget to plan how to keep your business sustainable. You have to do the planning. And so you got to get the help. Go to the bankers, go to various resources to help you plan out what you need to do so that you can mitigate some of those areas of disappointment. I'm not going to say failure, but you can't be afraid of failure either, but disappointment. So you got to get help. You cannot do everything by yourself. And that's another thing. Business owners, they love, it's their baby. They want to hold on to it, and they hold on so tight. They don't let anybody else in to help them. So that's what I would say. Get the help that you need. Don't be afraid to get the help. And learn how to monetize everything. Get paid. That's another thing. It's good to give away and good give away services, but you got to learn how to make the money off of the services and the products that you're so impassioned about.
Someone has a question here. Sean, I have a question about building your brand. What are the measures have you taken to protect your home life from business, but build your brand still? So
that's a great question.
My brand includes my home life.
Okay.
Like you got to be authentic, like live authentically in who you are.
Your brand.
And that's don't come out. Yeah. Like don't come out and fake the funk. You know what I mean? Because you are only going to be, you can only be good at being you. So don't pretend like you somebody else. So I bring it all with me. You're going to catch me, and you're going to catch me with no makeup on, my hair all over my head. You're going to catch my son in the shipping department. My daughter runs social media. You know what I mean? I got another one that's doing graphic work, and it's just like you have to bring your family along. Be authentic in your journey. Don't be afraid to share, because somebody is going through the same thing that you're going through. Like they see it. and they want to know, and they want to take this journey with you. Build your tribe of people who are going to come with you, who cheering you on, who going to be promoting you, who be, that be on, crust, because I got to get my crust this week. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to keep putting this out there. That when they stop past, and bite their crust, you know what I mean? They got to do a video about the crust. That's the tribe. Like, you have to build that, and you do it authentically. You do it, and it's not about the logo. It ain't about the logo, because people could care less sometimes about that logo. They want to know who you are, what you stand for,
your values,
what you believe in. Like they want to know you.
I think businesses now, like, we're in a new phase of life where it's okay to be a human being. At first in businesses, it's like, you see all these celebrities, they don't want to have their children around, they don't want to have their men around. It's just very strictly like, I'm a business professional and that's it. Now everybody got a baby on their hip. They're showing the real side behind the business because people want to connect with real people. Like, it's okay to be human. It's okay to be you. And then also, like, what's the point of creating a business? You're going through all of this work and you can't be yourself, right? Like, you want to be able to create a brand that works for you, create a brand that fits into your current lifestyle and your values. You want to be able to bring that to the table, because if you can't do that, then you just going to work. You're just going to work if you can't be yourself in your business. So
life design, you know what we say?
What?
Your brand is a satisfied and fulfilled life.
Absolutely. And you come to Crust, you're going to see that high chair in the corner. You're going to see grandma sitting there. I mean, you got to make it work for you, because at the end of the day, I need to be able to show up in my business as myself. I want to be able to say, hey, queen. I want to be able to, speak to my customers. And I have to be okay with that, because when people see that you are authentically yourself, then nothing else matters. I can say I'm having a tough day. People going to come. They're going to bring me some coffee. They're going to bring me some tea. They're going to bring me a smile. They happy faces, because it's okay. Like, it's okay to not be okay in your business. It's okay to be transparent with people, because at the end of the day, they want to know that I can be that person. I can be somebody who's tired and exhausted and working 3 jobs to create this business, because that's exactly what I'm doing, and Takiyah's doing, and the kids doing. Everybody is doing it. It's a real thing. It's a real part of the process. So show up as yourself all the time, and then you don't have to pretend. It is just a part of you, which then becomes a part of your business, and that is your brand aesthetic. You are your brand.
That's
so
right.
I definitely.
We only have 5 minutes. I want to put up Amanda's pastries so people can see what we're talking about. Norm, can you give us?
As I'm on a juice fast.
Nakia, I'm so sorry, Nakia. I'm so sorry, Nakia. Oh my God, look at him. Jesus. Oh my God.
Wow. I'm getting filled up just looking at him.
Let me bite it. I don't even know what that is. I'm a bite it though.
You're a trick.
Lord.
Wow.
That's what I'm
talking
about.
That's disrespectful. That's what that is. That's disrespectful.
Oh, looks so good.
So look, ladies, we have had a scrumptious good time today.
Yes.
And so have the people who have been witnessing this.
Look at that. Bernard, we don't hear you anymore.
We can't hear nothing you're saying. There's a pastry on this screen. I done forgot where I was.
Thank you, Norman, because I wasn't going to be able to pay attention.
I know.
Just good time today.
Yes, we did.
I drooled a little bit.
But also listening, and the people who have been with us have enjoyed it immensely. I can tell by the energy and the questions and the excitement. And so I want to thank each one of you for everything that you are bringing in this moment, but also what you are bringing to life and to people and to communities by being who you are, being in the businesses that you are, which is an extension of yourself, and just bringing so much love. Just bringing so much love. I want to thank Joy Bramble, the Baltimore Times.
Thank you.
For creating this space that we could share ourselves, our stories. I want to thank PNC Bank for offering such great resources. I want to thank Ann over at Morgan and the Women's Center over there, Amanda, Takiyah, and Nakia. I just say to God be the glory. We thank you so much.
Thank you.
We've had a wonderful time.
Thank you.
And we are looking forward to the next opportunity, because people had some questions that we didn't get a chance to answer. We should just get together regularly and just
we should get together.
Yes. I know. I'm sitting here like we might just need to go live, y'all, because
that's true, Nakia.
We're gonna do this at the Women's Business Center. Yes, we're gonna be having your story.
Let's
ongoing, peer to peer. Yes, we're gonna do.
This is a ball. This is satisfying and fulfilling.
Yes,
that's what I would call it. So thank you so much.
Thank
just
you.
Keep on doing what you're doing and being who you're being.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
Have
Thank you.
the
It's been
most
an honor.
Incredible day.
Yes.
And life and business of your choice. Peace and blessings to you.
Thank
you.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye, everyone, for being here.
Thank you for being here, sharing this with us.